I remember the first time that I met my nurse who has to do my laser down there. It's the first time that someone seen me down there and not take me out for dinner.
Did I lie? Did I lie? Did I fucking lie?
Hello everyone, this is Vikki. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm exactly at 11 months and a half post SRS, and I figured that this is a good time for me to talk about the pro and con of SRS. There's so many people have asked me to do this video, what's the pro, what's the con of SRS and getting SRS surgery. I couldn't answer that from the beginning because I was going through really tough times, but right now, after settling in 11 and a half months after, I feel like I can give you a better understanding and a clearer advice and feedback about what my experience like with SRS surgery. But before we get into the video, oh my god, it feels so strange to do this now because I have been vlogging for the last couple weeks. If you are a new subscriber, welcome to the family. We're growing here, we're supportive of each other, and it's a great place to be. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here. You guys know how much you mean to me. If you want to see more content from me, please follow me on Instagram at I'm Vikki Lee, and my backup account as Kiki with Vikki. I haven't been on there for a while, so. Also, make sure that you turn on your bell notification so this way you can see my videos that come out. I had a couple people had asked me, like, they haven't seen me for a while, but I've been very active on YouTube. So if you click that, I think it would alert you when my videos come out. So this way you're more up to date. But okay, let's get into the video. So the pro and con of SRS. This is my experience. I can only tell you what I've gone through. If there are tips, if there's something in this video that you can have it take away and make your experience better, that's great. But I'm not a medical provider, so if there's any question that you guys have medically, please contact your surgeons. They should be able to let you know everything. I do want to say though that there will always be people out there who will not accept you, discredit who you are, devalue who you are and what you do, post-op or pre-op. This is a very personal experience and journey. Make sure that when you decided to do it, that you do it for yourself and not for getting the validation from others. We should also address a lot of the misconception about all trans women want SRS. First of all, there's so many trans women that I know personally that are happy and thriving out there right now without SRS and never even thought about getting SRS surgeries. It's just like in cis women world. There's women who's gonna get breast surgery, and then there are women who happy the way they are. Getting this surgery or getting that surgery or not getting any surgery at all, it doesn't invalidate you as a woman. Getting SRS is also not an ending, not a goal. It's a chapter. It's the end or the beginning of a chapter. I hate it when cis people asking questions like, have you gone all the way or completed all your surgeries? That is not a goal for so many trans people out there. Personally, getting SRS was just like one other stop. My journey is still gonna be long. There's no clear destination inside. There's destination for every day, which is live my life to the fullest and be happy and be a better person. For all those trans folk who have told me and other trans women that having a vagina doesn't make us a woman, what do you tell women who cannot give birth? What do you tell women out there who recover from cancer and don't have their uterus anymore? What do you say to them? What you guys have been taught is the gender norm, the gender roles, like what women should be, what men should be. Women were not put on earth to just reproduce and be inferior to men. Like there's so many different variations of what women are. We have to embrace each other and see each other as variation and not a violation of womanhood. Usually I would like to get the negative out of the way and then hear the positive, but I don't know how people are. Some people like to be eased into it. The first con is it's a long wait list. Honestly, what I can tell you right now is shop around, look for results, and see everybody's work, as many as you can. Once you decided that doctor, you're gonna have a consultation, and from the consultation to the surgery itself, it can take up to 1.5 years, sometimes 2 years. In New York, for me, I waited a whole year, and then I do have some delay and setback, and then the pandemic happened. In total for me, it was 1.5 years before I got my surgeries. The second con is the cost of surgery is extremely expensive. The great thing about where I went, and I have insurance through my work, they cover like 90% of it. It was like $100,000 and it's so expensive. But the thing is, NYU Langone, they have a team who work with you, and 90% of the client who had SRS there didn't have to pay out of pockets. They find a way and work with you and make sure that you are covered when it comes to SRS. I know some people prefer to go to Thailand because they have the most experience with it, or go to Brazil and then have their surgeries. For me personally, knowing what I know now, if I was in another country in recovery and have to take the long flight home like that, I would be so miserable. Difficult and long recovery. Even though I expected this, I didn't expect this. You know what I mean? I've said it so many times. Where I was physically and health-wise, I didn't think that I would be here right now. I didn't think that it would take me this long. But everybody's experience is different. Everybody's journey with SRS is very, very different. But I never thought that I would be here in this situation. Like, I had high expectation for myself. I see myself like rock climbing, hiking in the Grand Canyon right now, like almost a year in, but I'm not, you know? I walk a couple blocks and I'm like exhausted. So it is expected. You can prepare all you want for it. When it happened, it happened. I thought that I would have a better recovery. I thought I would be doing backflip and dead drop after 6 months. I'm not. I can barely lay on my stomach. The next one is a lifelong commitment of dilation. Now this one, I did kind of go into it blindly. I've always thought that dilation is part of the surgery, and I thought that like you can only have to dilate 6 months to a year. I didn't realize that it's kind of like a lifelong commitment and you have to dilate basically all your life. I mean, if you want to use it and have a full functionality down there, then you have to dilate. I do know that it's gradually decreased in terms of how many times that you dilate a day, but still you have to dilate. And dilation is not fun. It doesn't get easier. Sometimes it gets stressful, and sometimes your body is really tight. I mean, almost a year in, I still dilate 3 times a day when I have more time, and when I happen to be out or something, I would dilate 2 times a day. And when I do 2 times a day, sometime at nighttime, the last dilation, since the wait time is so long in between, your body kind of closes up already and it's get tight. You get a little blood, there's granulation tissue. Sometimes it gets very, very annoying, but I'm committed to it. Another con that I want to mention is like you have to go off your hormones for a bit. And for a lot of people, it might not be much, but like I wish I knew that would affect me the way it did. Taking myself off hormones 6 weeks before the surgery is already stressful enough. There's so many moments that I get like really extremely emotional and sometimes moderately depressed. I didn't realize that I have to keep my hormones with me. I ran out of it. I was like, oh, maybe it would like be a month or something in before I can take my hormones again. I can take my hormones 10 days after the surgery, and I didn't have it. And then with the COVID happening, I had to ask for it to be shipped to the house, and it takes a little bit. And every single day, those first 2 weeks when I got discharged from the hospital, I couldn't sleep with painkillers, with pain, with everything's going on. And without my hormones, there were hot flash, I was breaking out. Since I've been on HRT, I always had great skin. But then like taking myself off hormones, I was like breaking out and everything. I was just like, just one more thing that I didn't need. So I always tell people, please stock up your estrogen. The second that you can take it again after SRS, take it. So you don't have to suffer hot flashes the way I did. The next con is the possibility of bad results and also a possibility for revision. Nothing is perfect, even though you plan it out, even though you do everything that you can, you hope for the best, you pray for the best, you work with the best doctor. There's always gonna be a slight chance of bad possibility or bad outcomes. I'm happy with how mine looks, but I've talked to so many people and know so many people who I've seen the result after so many years, and they're not happy with it, you know, and I can see that. I can look at that and really be transparent. I haven't seen a lot of like vaginas in my whole life, but I can look at that and tell you that's not a good looking one, and I feel for them, you know. Going through SRS is not a joke. Like, it's stressful. It's a major surgery. Recovery from it and then seeing that is discouraging, and I really feel bad for all these girls who show me and tell me about their stories and stuff. I wish that there's something that I could do. Even though despite everything that I went through, I'm very happy with how it looks on the outside. Another con that I want to mention, I don't think I ever talked about it on this channel. The preparation for SRS, beside everything that I listed, also is a laser and sometimes electrolysis. It's extremely embarrassing, humiliating, painful, and costly. I was scheduled to have 6 appointments of laser surgeries down there. I think I have a pretty high pain threshold. I had my laser up here that I'd done for like 2 years. It's painful in certain places. I mean, I'm very lucky that like I met people who were so understanding, who worked with trans women before. They were so cool about it. They was like really nice, make me feel very, very comfortable and at home. But still, this is like a total stranger. I try to make jokes about it. I remember the first time that I met my nurse who has to do my laser down there. It's the first time that someone seen me down there and not take me out for dinner.
Did I lie? Did I lie? Did I fucking lie?
There's so many sensitive spots down there that when it's being laser, I had to ask her to stop so many times. I remember asking her what can I do to like kind of lessen the pain, and she told me to come in 20 minutes before in the next session, and I came in and I put on the numb gel. You still feel it, maybe not as much, but you still feel like in certain places it just doesn't work. No matter how much numbing you like have down there, it's still pretty painful. And the thing about the numbing gel too, there's like a whole day that you go on and it feels numb in your pee hole down there. Like you just feel very, very strange. It's not cute. Another con is douching. I hated it. I don't like sticking that thing up and like cleaning myself there. You're always leaking. In the beginning, I have to change like 20 different pads just because you dilating, you douching, and you just always wet down there and it's hard to heal. I'm almost reached a year right now and I still on one side only. I don't know why. The scar is still pretty visible. You can see it. All around is fine, everything's healed correctly, but I do everything that they tell me to do. I massage and everything, but I still have that scar right there. And then also there's a tiny scar like right on my hip and then on my belly button. The funny thing about my belly button scar is that it was very deflated before. Now it's getting bigger. My belly button right now is just not cute anymore, and when I see them next, I'm gonna ask them what I can do, but like, yeah, I think another con would be the scarring. The next con is complication, which what I went through. My surgeons told me that they have done hundreds, 200 plus of surgeries. I'm the second person that my complication happened to. With them nipping the urethra and stuff, I mean, you can watch this video here, but I think without a complication, I would probably be more far along with my recovery, but with that, it still messed me up, and now I'm seeing therapists for it. I'm seeing physical therapists, I'm seeing therapists. It's a lot, but I'm working on it, you know. I still have PTSD. I still have certain things that trigger me. If it's a scent, if it's a smell, if it's a dream, anything can happen. You know, people see me, I'm always like very positive and extroverted, but you only see a couple minutes of my day. Most of the time, I'm just not like this. I'm from Vietnam and my parents are immigrants. We don't talk about mental health. No one in Vietnam that I've known of personally ever talk about mental health the way that we do here. Only recently too. I never thought that that would affect me so much, but right now I'm taking it very, very seriously, and I'm seeing a therapist for it, so hopefully I can work through it. But I really think that there's a blockage somewhere after my surgery and my complication and what I went through that stopped me from really live my best life. So that's something to be concerned about too. This is not like proven 100%, but I have heard that having a major surgery like this, especially SRS, is definitely shorten your lifespan up to 10 years. I have heard about it, but no one really can prove it 100%, so who knows. Another con is learning to walk again. Even sitting up was like way too difficult, let alone like start walking again. You feel everything was moving and laying down for such a long time, and then all of a sudden you kind of like Bambi, you're like starting to walk again. every motion, every movement that you make, your whole body's like feel it. And after I got discharged, like I live in a 4th floor walk up. It took me like 10 minutes, but yeah, that's something to consider too. It made me realize the luxury of just like being able to like get up and sitting up like really fast. Like usually, you know, you just don't even notice these things. Like it's such a privilege to like just get up and do things now when you first had SRS. It's not the same thing. Speaking of learning to do things again, also you have to learn how to pee again. Aiming is way more difficult now. I have a tip for girls out there. Grab tissue just in hands when you sit down and pee. I don't sit on the toilet in public. I only sit on my toilet. Like that's what I feel comfortable in and that's me. Out in public, I'm squatting and it's so hard to squat when your legs are weak already. When you squat, you're just not aiming correctly. It runs down your legs sometime and I had that happen to me. Now I always have like 2 sides of like tissue like holding onto it unless it's like start running down my legs. Like peeing as a woman in public it's not a cute adventure. You have to learn how to pee. You have to learn how to use number 2. My tips is drink Miralax, drink lots of water, walk around a little bit so this way it can help with the bowel movement. Bloating in the stomach, that's another con for me. I still have problem. Right now I could be thin everywhere, but my stomach is still the biggest problem. Like I cannot lay on my stomach, I cannot sleep on my stomach. When I reach or do certain movement, I feel everything here moving in my abdomen and everything just like stretching, which I'm working on right now, but still, you know, it's difficult. Another con is the possibility of, you know, your private intimate life. I don't experience that. In the beginning, it's understandable. You know, they said that you could start having intercourse again after 4 months. But for me, it was a little bit soon. I didn't have mine until like 10 months. And yeah, for me, it's fine. In that area, I don't experience anything bad. But I just want to list it so people know it's one of the possibility. One of my biggest fear about having SRS is like losing complete sensation and feelings down there. Personally, I'm very, very happy that I feel so much sensation down there. In the beginning, it was a little bit scary. Every couple minutes, I'm feeling things just like spasming down there, and it gets really bad to the point that like you have to hold it down there and just like lay down because there's nothing else you could do. The only comfortable position is like down on the floor and just like holding your vagina. And I have done that many times in the past. Now I'm able to feel everything. I get very sensitive down there and it feels great, you know. It feels great that like it makes you realize the magic of the surgery is like you're able to feel everything down there. But I have heard from a lot of women who told me that now it's only look good but they don't feel anything. But I think that's like a possibility with like when people get boobs job also. There's some women who look great but they don't feel anything. Personally, my biggest fear and biggest con of having SRS is the limited resources in terms of doctors. It's not like if you have a situation down here and there's something happen, you cannot just go to any doctors who would understand this, who would know how to treat this. You have to go to a specific surgeons and doctor. I feel like there's not much done and study about this. Like what happened in 20 years, what happened in 30 years. Like you don't know, you're not sure about anything. Short temporary happiness for me, that's what it feels like, at least right now. But hopefully as we move forward in the futures, there's more people who can treat this. Like what if I move out of New York? Who am I gonna see in wherever I am? What if I live in a very small town? Do I have to travel every time that there's something happen in my vagina? That for me is the biggest con and the biggest fear. Even with HRT, we just don't know the long-term effects that it will have on us because there's not much done and study about it. Now that I get all the cons out of the way, let's get into the pro. We're gonna end the video on a high note. I definitely feel more aligned with who I am. And it's hard for me to say it because I've always thought that I was really happy with the way I was. I mean, I could, if I go on my whole life without getting SRS, I think I would still be okay. But I'm much happier now just because I feel like however I'm feeling here and feeling here, it reflected down there. Now when I look in the mirror, I feel very much belong. I feel very aligned with my body, with myself, with my soul. It just feels great. And I think that's the reason why I wanted to get this. It's not that I wasn't happy, but I knew that I could be happier, and that's what I went through and that's what I did. Now I can wear so many things that I never able to wear before and feel comfortable in. Right now, honestly, I can put on any piece of clothing and I feel great in, just because I know that I'm the right mannequin for it. You know what I mean? It's like a little things, but it makes you happy. It makes you feel more fulfilled. It makes you feel more accomplished. It brings you joy, and you know, little things matter. Another pro is definitely no stress, no anxiety when I'm in public places, when I'm going through the TSA. One of my biggest fear before was every time I walk through the TSA, I'm just like, oh my God, they scanning me. They seeing everything. They know who I am, you know what I mean? And now it's just like, I feel way more confident. I'm just like, I remember taking my first flight. I was walking through the TSA and I was just like, scan me.
Honey, it's only awkward for you, not for me.
But then of course, when they like stopping me and scanning through my luggage and pulling out all my dilators and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, great. Just another thing to add on my list, right? Another great pro is you don't ever have to take spironolactone anymore, which is your hormone blockers. That stuff is not good for you. It's damaging your liver. I hated it. I stopped taking it like 2 years before SRS, but still, you know, that's one thing to add on the list of the pro. I always had great intimate life before, but like now everything just like up a notch for me. It's also less messy now when I'm with my partner or when I'm by myself. It's just like much cleaner. I love it. But yes, that is it, guys. We went through it. I hope that this video is not gonna discourage you from doing what you want. Remember what I said from the beginning. Pre-op or post-op, you are all valid, you all matter. I see you as who you see yourself. Don't ever let anybody invalidate who you are just because you have the surgery or don't have the surgery. Do it for yourself. Everything that I have listed out in this video is supposed to give you more knowledge, give you more to consider about what you are going through with SRS, not to discourage you. That's not what I want from this video. I don't want it to make you feel scared, to make you feel hopeless, to make you feel helpless. I want it to be a piece of information that would help you make better decisions when it comes to your next chapter and your next journey. I just want you to know that I love you, I see you, and you are always welcome here in this YouTube family that we have created for ourselves. If you love this video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, share this video if you want, and I'll see you next time.